It was the evening of January 13th, 2012, a night that seemed to blend seamlessly into the tapestry of countless others. Yet within mere moments, this night would be immortalized as an open wound, seared into the collective memory, refusing to heal. The Costa Concordia, a leviathan of the sea, was poised to etch one of the most harrowing chapters in the annals of modern maritime history. This was no ordinary vessel. At its christening, it was hailed as a testament to Italian pride, a floating city nearly 300 meters in length and over 30 meters wide, capable of carrying more than 4,000 souls, both passengers and crew alike. Adorned with glistening decks, fine dining establishments, theaters, and pools, it embodied accessible luxury, a dream for those yearning to break free from their daily grind and surrender to the gentle embrace of the sea. It was a true showcase of modernity, flying the Italian flag as it graced ports around the globe. 4 years, it had braved the oceans without incident, a beacon of power and security. Each voyage it embarked upon was a promise of relaxation, merriment, and unburdened joy. Entire families set sail on the Concordia, carrying with them the excitement of crafting happy memories far from the clutches of everyday concerns. For many, the Concordia was not merely a means of transport. It was the dawn of an adventure, the ideal setting for unforgettable experiences. Yet lurking beneath the grandeur and opulence of that vessel, an unseen shadow loomed, one that no soul could predict. An error in judgment, a miscalculated decision, would soon turn this emblem of beauty into a humbled wreck, bowed before the Italian coast. That evening, aboard the Concordia, families with children, honeymooning couples, tourists from every corner of the globe laughed, dined, toasted. Many enjoyed the theater, others strolled along the deck, savoring the fresh sea air. It was a night of celebration, of tranquility. But beneath that veneer of normalcy, fate was racing, poised to overturn everything in its wake. Mere minutes after 9:30 p.m., the Concordia cruised towards the island of Giglio. The captain resolved to steer closer than advisable, aiming for a spectacular salute, a maneuver known as incino, a tradition, an act of bravado, a display of the ship's majestic stature. Yet this reckless proximity would bear irreversible consequences. An unexpected crash shattered the peace. The ship had struck the submerged rocks of Skull, hidden just beneath the water's surface. The metallic groan of steel yielding to nature's will thundered like a violent storm. Lights flickered, glasses tumbled from tables. Bewildered passengers cast bewildered glances around. In mere seconds, what had been a dream cruise descended into a relentless nightmare. The Concordia, once the proud emblem of Italy, began its gradual descent into the abyss of history. Initially, no one truly comprehended the gravity of what had occurred. Some passengers assumed it to be a mere technical fault, others thought of it as an abrupt maneuver. In the shadow of the night, a cruise ship once deemed invincible sailed forth, its towering presence a symbol of luxury and bliss. Yet, beneath the surface, fate read at its hand. The passengers, wrapped in the illusion of safety, clung desperately to the belief that any disturbance was but a fleeting hiccup. However, near the bowels of the ship, where the roar was unmistakable, the chilling truth unfolded as water surged with an unyielding force that silenced any hope of a benign mishap. The ship lurched, its mighty engines faltering under the assault, as lights flickered eerily before extinguishing into a haunting void. A stillness, marred by the cacophony of clattering dishes, cries, and the heart-wrenching sobs of children, invaded the once vibrant corridors. Now dimly lit by emergency lights, these narrow passages contracted, suffocating all who tried to escape their grasp. The Costa Concordia, a vessel of revelry, transformed into a theater of dread as fear snaked through every hallway and room. On the bridge, a stark reality took shape. The hull lay rent. Water cascaded into compartments with terrifying speed. In a last attempt to preserve calm, announcements reverberated through the ship, painting a false narrative of a mere electrical failure. Please, return to your cabins. Everything is under control. We are addressing the electrical issue, they said. But this facade of tranquility crumbled swiftly, for soon the ship tilted, a gentle sway at first, rapidly intensifying until passengers clutched desperately at walls to remain upright. Glassware tumbled from tables, chairs slid unbidden, and floors betrayed their function as stable surfaces. Understanding dawned brutally. An unimaginable catastrophe was underway. Panic erupted as passengers dashed through corridors seeking answers, shouting amidst chaos and desperately searching for lifeboats. Meanwhile, the inhabitants of Giglio Island stood stunned, watching from the shore as the ship listed ominously on the dark canvas of the sea, its silhouette barely alive with scattered lights. To those on land, It was an unthinkable spectacle. To those aboard, it was the onset of a desperate fight for survival. The Costa Concordia tilted further, minute by relentless minute, transforming its decks into steep precipices that dragged everything, luggage, furniture, people, into a spiraling descent. Navigating these treacherous inclines turned one simple act into daunting challenges: walking, standing, grasping, seeking escape. Finally, after agonizing minutes wasted in uncertainty, the command to abandon ship was issued. It was a crucial call, delayed far too long to prevent lamentable consequences. Lifeboats, already precariously positioned on the sharply angled deck, became nearly impossible to lower with order. Toiling amid confusion and urgency, passengers fought to board them while exposed to the frigid night, dressed inadequately in evening wear or without jackets. Parents clung to their children, their grip an unbreakable vow amidst the pandemonium. Others embraced loved ones, vowing not to be torn apart by the chaos enveloping them. All were united in purpose, a fervent, singular drive, to survive as the night wore on, and the ship's grand illusion teetered on the brink of oblivion. In the thick, suffocating night, distinctions vanished, between rich and poor, powerful and meek, as every soul aboard that ill-fated cruise ship was united by one primal instinct: to survive. The chaos was palpable, a cacophony of desperate cries mingling with sobs and fervent prayers, filling the air with a haunting symphony of dread and despair. Some valiantly attempted to maintain a semblance of order, offering aid to the vulnerable amid the turmoil, while others crumbled under the weight of panic's relentless grip. The evacuation, a frantic dance of desperation, was nothing short of pandemonium. Lifeboats jammed at their hinges, some plummeted clumsily, while others descended into the dark waters with an unsettling lethargy. And then there were those who, driven by an instinctual defiance, threw themselves overboard, hoping desperately that the icy embrace of the sea would somehow be more forgiving than the sinking vessel they were abandoning. Meanwhile, on the distant shores of Giglio Island, the first whispers of rescue took form, as local fishermen answered the call of duty. These men, ordinary in every sense yet astonishingly brave, steered their modest boats into the abyssal blackness towards the monstrous silhouette listing heavily on its side. They were untrained in the art of rescue, yet emboldened by a courage that outshone any protocol. The scene was surreal, a once mighty leviathan of the sea, now a crippled hulk, intermittently illuminated by flickering lights, while around it danced a fleet of small boats braving the rolling waves to haul aboard men, women, and children from the sea's clutches. In those critical, heart-stopping hours, the fate of thousands hung precariously between the precipices of fear and hope, each moment teetering as a fragile equilibrium. From the mainland, the story began to unfold like a fever dream, disseminated through the relentless pulse of television broadcasts, newspaper headlines, and the relentless tide of social media. At first, whispers suggested a mere mechanical mishap, a glitch in the seamless escapism offered by modern cruising. But as images trickled in from Giglio, the gravity of reality settled, a majestic, gleaming cruiser, listing horribly askew, hundreds of lives dangling by a thread as the twilight of their dreams beckoned tragedy instead. What had promised to be a night of jubilation swiftly morphed into a spectacle of heart-wrenching disaster unraveling live before the eyes of Italy and, soon, the world. As the night matured, the once regal Costa Concordia succumbed ever further to the grip of merciless rocks, its grandeur enslaved, yet refusing surrender. It metamorphosed from a symbol of pride and opulence into a stark monument to human error and unimaginable sorrow. The ship, now an immovable giant, leaned ever more ominously, its every groan and creak of surrender echoing into the night, which seemed infinite and relentless. For those still trapped aboard, time unraveled, every second stretching interminably, measured only by the screech of steel, the frantic pleas of those longing for salvation, and the distant murmurs of silenced engines. Within the capsized behemoth, rescuers navigated a hellscape, where grand corridors once bright and polished now twisted grotesquely, floors playing host to ceilings in a vertiginous nightmare. Each inch conquered demanded crawling, climbing, a mariner's traverse over obstacles that mere hours prior were the epitome of luxury. They knocked on doors, clung to sound and shadow, hoping beyond hope for a glimmer of life in response. Outside, on Giglio, the magnitude of the emergency swallowed the small island whole. It was a community accustomed to the quietude of winter, thrust suddenly into the blinding light of a global stage, becoming an unintentional epicenter of calamity and valiant rescue. The narrow streets were awash with a flood of survivors, ambulances racing against the clock, and volunteers driven by compassion. Residents opened their homes, offering anything they could muster: warm blankets, essential provisions, even their own beds. Every open door became a bastion of safety, every act of kindness a beacon against the chilling dread of uncertainty. Out at sea, an almost surreal drama unfolded. The once magnificent ship now lay shrouded in darkness. Only a few feeble lights flickered defiantly on the water's surface. Helicopters hovered above the wreckage, their searchlights slicing through the night with the precision of blades. From the sky, the scene was stark. A colossal, white giant sprawled against the rocks, surrounded by tiny rescue boats that appeared as mere specks, yet each offered a fragile lifeline between life and death for those fortunate enough to clamber aboard. Each rescue mission was a desperate race against time, a relentless push by the rescuers who understood that with every degree the ship tilted, the chances of finding survivors dwindled. Undeterred by the grim odds, they persisted, determined to scour every corner. It was a battle waged between courage and despair, a fierce struggle against fate itself. That fateful night of the Concordia was brutally long and unyielding, yet it also stood testament to the indomitable spirit that in dire moments, the bravery of a few can ignite hope for many. As morning dawned, the grim reality solidified. The Costa Concordia would never grace the seas again. Bathed in the harsh light of day, the ship lay prostrate before the island, a vanquished titan, a stark, silent testament to the scale of the catastrophe. On land, the survivors huddled in improvised shelters, the grim toll of the disaster beginning to emerge. Scores of lives lost, hundreds displaced, too many unaccounted for. Italy woke to the haunting image of a dream vessel transformed into wreckage, consumed by a singular, searing question: how could such a calamity unfold? Amidst the national mourning and ongoing efforts to recover those still missing, investigations commenced swiftly. This was no accident of nature, no sudden mechanical failure. It was the outcome of a human decision, a reckless maneuver made in the quest for spectacle, a hazardous sailby known as Incino, intended to salute the island's inhabitants and showcase the grandeur of the ship. Commander Francesco Schettino quickly became the focal point of blame, not only for the audacious maneuver but also for his faltering, delayed response to the crisis. Following years of litigation, a definitive verdict was rendered in 2017. 16 years of imprisonment for accidental shipwreck, multiple counts of manslaughter, and abandonment of the vessel. A sentence that in the shadow of 32 lost lives underscored the undeniable truth. This calamity was birthed not from the sea's whims, but from human error. Yet the saga of the Concordia did not end with that night. Before the eyes of the world, for months and years, the haunting image of that colossal vessel lay stranded on the rugged rocks of Giglio. It wasn't merely a wreck, it was a massive burden on the environment, the economy, and the collective memory. Thus began another challenge, distinct yet equally astounding. This was the monumental endeavor of salvaging the ship, the largest maritime engineering project ever attempted. Engineers and specialists flocked from every corner of the globe to this small island, determined to devise a plan that defied belief, to upright and remove a nearly 300-meter-long ship, precariously resting on a fragile seabed, mere meters from Giglio's peaceful homes. Months of intense planning ensued. An open-air construction site sprang to life around the pitiful wreck, employing thousands of skilled workers and hundreds of dedicated divers, laboring tirelessly through day and night. The mission was not only to reclaim the ship but to safeguard the ocean's delicate balance. Below the battered Concordia, the sea itself bore scars from the calamitous impact. Technicians erected steel platforms to brace the tilting hull while dive teams meticulously cleared the seabed of debris, rubble, and toxic remnants. Every salvaged piece, every careful maneuver aimed to restore to the ocean and the island some measure of what had been lost. September 2013 marked the climactic moment of parbuckling, a breathtaking symphony of engineering prowess. Through the colossal strains of massive metal caskets and a complex network of counterweights, the Concordia was gently coaxed back to her upright, dignified stance, inch by persistent inch, meter by painstaking meter, eventually standing tall once more. The world watched, gripped by the spectacle, as finally, the crumpled giant was no longer marooned on the rocks, battered and scarred, yet standing its ground. Then, in July 2014, the vessel embarked on its final voyage. The Concordia was solemnly towed to the port of Genoa, like a funereal procession across the waves. There, it was steadily dismantled, piece by piece, until nothing remained, its story stripped to the bones and consigned to memory. This chapter of history reached its poignant conclusion, a testament to human ingenuity and resilience. In the end, if you believe that stories of such magnitude should not fade into obscurity,